Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome, welcome. We are closing out 2024 and entering 2025. And even though it's the Gregorian calendar, these energies still work through us on a collective level. It's not really the new year, but we still have energetic shifts, profound transformations underway. So let's get into it. I'm going to discuss these energies from an astrological perspective. This 2025 is the biggest astrological year we've had in quite some time. I'm going to look at the numerology perspective of a 9-year and then discuss a little bit as well of the year of the snake that we're about to enter with the lunar new year, and how these energies all kind of combine and intertwine, because this is really a year of big, profound changes. A lot of spiritual activations have been coming through to prepare us, a lot of throat chakra clearing for many, many people, myself included. What I'm really feeling also, for the greater perspective, what's been coming through to me is this overall theme of collective awakening and spiritual evolution and expansion. So we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of how all of these energies are playing out, because we've got all of the outer planets changing signs. That's part of the reason that this is such a huge transformative year from an astrological perspective. So it's really truly a year of radical change and upheaval, and coming off of 2024, buckle up, because that was just a taster, I feel, and it's been preparing us. So those of us who have been on this journey already, we are anchored and grounded enough to know to expect the unexpected on this journey, right? And we have the tools. And if you're new to this journey, then trust that what is meant to come to you is coming to you for your greater evolution, expansion, for a higher purpose, to get you into alignment with your higher self, because that's what this journey is all about. And collectively, what we're experiencing is out with the old, in with the new. I haven't totally decided what I'm going to title it. You will have already seen it, but it's what I was thinking for one title is out with the old, in with the new golden era. Because, I was thinking that as I was tuning in to somebody's video, and I was thinking, oh, out with the old, in with the new is very much what's happening. And then they literally said it like 2 minutes later. So that's very much a theme, but that's a common theme for every new year, right? But we're talking at like a very deep and profound, very transformational level, at a spiritual level, at an esoteric level, at a collective level. Out with the old, in with the new. And we've been seeing that with the upheaval in the collective, the political upheaval and transitions and changes, especially in America. And I'm going to speak through the lens of America primarily because that's where I live, and also because it has such a profound impact on the geopolitical sphere generally. I think it's valid for everybody to, kind of understand the profound points of transition that America is going through, because every nation has its own birth chart as well. So, we have been clearing so much throughout 2024, especially the last several months of 2024. We have been receiving an incredible amount of solar energy through solar flares and geomagnetic storms, and like every possible thing you could imagine has been happening even in just the last few days. The Schumann resonance has been spiking white, and when it's spiking white, if you have seen the graphs, when it's stable and calm, it's just a little bit of green. It's kind of just, chilling. Blue is like the background. But when it's getting into the red and the white spike, so the white is very high frequency energies coming into the planet. And what it does is it literally is activating Gaia's crystalline core, Mother Earth's crystalline core. So she's got this crystalline core that kind of helps with our magnetic field. And so when she receives more energy and more frequency, it changes things. And so she goes through a recalibration, and that in turn affects us at a biological cellular level. And so it contributes to detoxification of the density. So it's it's very much a purging. And when we talk about purging, when I say it, I mean very much at a cellular level, we are purifying our systems, our beings, mentally, emotionally, physically, getting into true alignment spiritually. This is what these solar energies, because they're bringing in light codes that activate our DNA, this is what these solar energies are doing. So our crystalline DNA is being activated as Gaia's crystalline core is being activated and upgraded. So we're integrating all of these profoundly high vibrational frequencies into very dense bodies. And this has really been a time of deep reckoning and soul searching for everybody. So as we move into the new year, we also had the new calendar year anyway, into 2025. We also had a double new moon in December. It's December 31st as I record this. And so we're still in the energy of this black moon. So a double new moon is a rare event to occur within 1 month. And, typical Year of the Dragon fashion, it was Year of the Dragon is about mastery, and the 8 of 2024 was about karma, as well as, abundance and infinite possibilities. So what it was really calling us to do was to anchor into our vision of possibility and to the frequency of abundance that is available to us, and then to clear the karmic loops that were keeping us out of alignment with that vision. Any energetic misalignment that was keeping us from stepping fully into the embodied, masterful version of self that was able to hold that vibrational frequency of total expansion, infinite possibilities, magic, miracles, and limitless abundance, right? So 8 was actually more about getting the foundation in place. And as we move into January of 2025, I feel that this is going to be a period of recalibration where we're kind of allowing that energy to anchor into the physical reality. So it is Capricorn season, and Capricorn is very much about the physical stability and foundations, getting that structure in place. So it might not be, because a lot of people very much are in hibernation mode in the middle of winter. That's why the Gregorian calendar, the new year, feels off. The new year energetically is more aligned with spring equinox. That's what I feel, and that's what many people feel. So we're feeling like this January is going to be a little different, because it is. And we also have this very fresh energy working through us and with us. And what it's calling us to do, I feel, is to really anchor into that vision and to get clear on the steps that we need to take and everything that we need to create on the foundation to get us in that direction, to start to take those steps to truly actually build it, right? So if you're kind of why didn't things happen for me in 2024? Really tune in and connect with what happened with you on an energetic level. What were you clearing? What were you recalibrating? Out with the old, in with the new. What are the old relationships, patterns, ways of being that were being brought up to the surface to be faced and embraced and integrated and, to be expanded beyond, perhaps. So we are, again, now in the phase of recalibrating into our external physical reality, allowing our body to fully be in that energy and to feel safe in that energy. So this theme of the body came up, and, I don't want to get on too many tangents because I've barely gotten into it, but there's so much coming through energetically to really anchor us into 2025. It felt necessary, but the body is the key. The body temple is the vessel for all of this energy. So nervous system regulation is absolutely essential, and I feel like that is such an undervalued aspect of the journey, something that people really don't pay enough attention to. And I think it's kind of coming up more and more for people to recognize, but I still think people don't acknowledge how I don't want to say how long, but how important it is and how much work that can take to really begin to feel safe in the body. If you've experienced trauma, especially narcissistic abuse, they make you feel unsafe being who you are. And so beginning to learn to trust yourself and to feel safe in that is such a huge aspect of this journey, so that you can step out embodied in your gifts and your magic. So those are videos for a separate time. I actually am planning to film more of that, and I'm planning to resurrect and rebrand my podcast. So stay tuned, because I'm going to get into some deep dive subjects about my experience of a lot of that stuff as well. So getting into the 2025, the vibration of 9. So 9 is a very powerful number of spirituality, and it really does hold the highest vibration of all the cardinal numbers, like the single digit numbers. So it holds the wisdom and the grace and the lessons and the, all of the experiences of all the previous numbers and what they represent. So it's this sense of completion and integration, as well as this kind of new beginning energy, because we are now whole and complete. It comes before 10, but it's the last one of the cardinal numbers again. So it's a very, very powerful number to work with. So it also signifies, from a numerology perspective, love, and spiritual perspective, love, faith, spiritual awakening, justice. Justice has been a theme that's been coming through a lot. So I feel that many people are going to receive karmic justice this year, because a lot of us have really been through it. Those of us who are walking the path, I say this lightly, but the chosen one, the 144,000, the lightworkers who are here to be in sacred service, in true devotion, a lot of us have really gone through the ringer. So this is the year. And because 9 is also 144 added up, the 144,000, I really feel that this is the year for the 144,000 to truly take their place as the leaders, as the way showers of the planet. So I think it is really time to step up. It is time, the energies are allowing us and assisting us in stepping up and fully being seen, and it is our time to shine. And 9 is also part of the 369, so we know that that's a very, very powerful trinity right there. It's connected to enlightenment, humanitarianism, spiritual awareness. So we're going to see these themes come up in the collective. When I was saying collective awakening, spiritual evolution and expansion, it very much connects with this. And then of course Pluto just moved in formally, finally, is at home now in Aquarius, which is very much about this humanitarian energy as well, we the people. So 9, according to the zodiac, connects with Sagittarius is the 9th, but it also connects with the energy of Scorpio and Aries. So, and the planet Mars, which is action. So this is very much like combining the energy of the visionary Sagittarius and the mastery of transformation and alchemy that comes through Scorpio with Aries, the action. So this is a really powerful combination, a really powerful trinity, if you will. So it's really going to help us to move forward in that visionary energy and take the action as an embodied master, is how I'm really feeling this come together. It's also the Hermit card. So it is this sense of retreating from the world to, you find your wisdom in solitude when you're in this hermit mode. And I think a lot of people have been in hermit mode, and a lot of people like to be in hermit mode on this journey. But I think the energy is, well, we're still kind of in winter and hibernation, to embrace this, but also to use this hermit mode, this hibernation phase, until we get to spring, because, I'm going to get into this. The middle of the year is a very powerful time. So we have all these astrological occurrences happening in the end of May to beginning of July, a huge amount of major transitions. So this time, we like, where do we want to be then? We've got to really, balance that desire to be internal and to hibernate with taking the necessary action steps to create that solid foundation for where we see ourselves being in the middle of this year by summer. So by summer solstice, that's a good way to look at it. So 9 also represents Judgment Day. So again, this transition of power, I feel, this upheaval in the collective. Jesus also appeared 9 times to his disciples and his apostles after his resurrection, according to the Bible. But, from a soul contract perspective, my soul contract dominant vibration is actually 9. So it's very much, from my reading, it's very much about reclaiming all aspects of self. So the sense of wholeness, again, coming through, loving them, acknowledging them. It's not judging as good or bad, just knowing that you are perfect as you are. So there's this deep sense of self-acceptance that comes through with this energy as well. So getting into the year of the snake is about wisdom, transformation, intuition as well. It's a symbol of intelligence, as well as charm and mystery and all of that. So very much spiritual. When you kind of translate those words, there's a lot of spiritual energy in the intuition and the transformation and spiritual wisdom being embodied. So we also have the energy with that transformation of the snake shedding its skin. So out with the old, in with the new. All of these different aspects were coming together to affirm that out with the old, in with the new. So it's very much, again, letting go of the past, the old ways of being, and maybe even literally like just moving forward in your life on a lot of physical levels, as well as adaptability and spiritual growth. And then, of course, the snake symbolizes the Kundalini energy. So I'm actually in the midst of a water fast myself. Instead of going out and celebrating with drinking because it's a fake New Year, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do a water cleanse. But I drink herbal tea as well. So where are we? So yes, what I feel is this theme of truth coming through, spiritual wisdom and truth being amplified and highlighted in the collective. So these major global shifts are ushering in a reign of truth and authenticity. I meant to say that in the beginning, that one of the major themes that I was feeling with that spiritual enlightenment was truth coming through very powerfully, like the rise of truth and the fall of false prophets, the fall of, fake celebrities and influencers and politicians and all of that, right? So we are entering a reign of truth and authenticity, and that's a beautiful thing when you're on this path and you know who you are and you know that you are here to, be of true service. It's a beautiful thing. So now let's get into the astrology. So again, these major transitions are facilitating it. So when the outer planets change, these are collective shifts. And these are also, like, the outer planets can be seen as transcendental planets. So they represent like the higher octave of being compared to the inner planets. And so then it really calls us into this more expanded sense of awareness, this expanded sense of self, and it's really pulling us into this expanded sense of unity consciousness is what's coming through right now as well. So we have Uranus moving into Gemini in July of 2025, July 7th, and that is actually the final major transit that we're talking about. So much is happening as of July 7th. I feel like this is even more the energies of like the beginning of of 2025, because it's almost like void space of infinite possibilities for the second half of the year. Like, what's going to happen? after all these changes and transitions. And that's a good thing. Void space of infinite possibilities means that you are tapped into pure creation potential. So that's kind of the sense that I was getting when I was anchoring into what I was going to share. I was like, I don't feel like there's anything that has come up for the second half of the year. And I feel like that's kind of what it is like we're meant to really just move through all of these major upheavals and transitions that are happening and integrate it into this sense of pure expansion and possibility. So Uranus is there in Gemini until 2032, which is seen by many to be another pivotal year collectively. So 2025 is a huge year, but also 2027, 2032, as we are going through these massive collective shifts and awakenings and transitions. So Uranus is a planet that brings about profound change. It's about breaking free from the old patterns and ways of being and embracing the new. It's about pushing past the limitations. So again, these transits bring profound change and awakening. And with Gemini, we have themes of communication and education. So let's see what happens with this. But it's the higher octave of Mercury specifically is another way to look at it. So it's a planet of freedom and revolutionary vision. So as we can see already, we've got a lot of change maker energy coming through with Uranus moving into Gemini in early July. And we're already in the midst of the United States, Pluto return. So with the Constitution, the signing of the Constitution, it's the Pluto return for the U.S. So America, also with these Uranus transits into Gemini in particular, tends to bring about wars. We have the Civil War, the World War II, and the Revolutionary War itself, all happening at these Uranus in Gemini transits. I don't want to be doomsday or anything, because if we look at the higher perspective, we can see this as a more of a spiritual war on consciousness level right now. And what happened with all of these wars is it brought forward positive social progress and change and transformation from certain perspectives. World War II, we saw a lot of shifts, and some of that's a little debatable, like what actually happened with that. But, we can see that war is never the answer. In my humble opinion, violence is never the answer. But again, if we look at this as a war on consciousness and a war on spirituality, then I really see us being the victors. The sense of victory has come through so much, like victory, victory, victory for the 144,000, the chosen, the lightworkers. And personally, if you're on this path, you've overcome the obstacles, you have overcome, everything that's been put in your path to block you from your success. You have broken the curses. You've been the generational curse breaker, right? So, this is, again, radical change and upheaval. So I'm putting it out there that there isn't going to be an actual physical war, but this is, we might see a lot of chaos in the collective. And as we've seen this year, there's still been a lot of tragedies and horrific things happening in the world. So I don't want to bypass that either. But I also like to hold the higher timeline, because so many of us came together after Helene hit. And the absolute catastrophic devastation. By the way, they're still struggling down in North Carolina. Don't let that fall off of your conscious awareness. They still need so much help. Milton then came right after, and it was meant to be just as devastating. And all of the light workers gathered. They were like, nope, we're not doing this again. We sent energy into that storm, and it dissipated. So, I'm not being Pollyanna when I say that we can really change the timelines of what's happening with these global events and things like that. So what is the timeline that we're choosing with our consciousness, with our energy, with our vibration? I very much believe that we have collectively been choosing the higher timeline, because enough of us are holding that higher vibrational frequency. But there's still work to do, okay? So just, keep that in mind. Neptune then is also moving into Aries in March. So actually this happened several months before. I started with the last one to kind of anchor us in, I guess. That wasn't necessarily like an intentional plan, but that's what happened. So then Neptune is moving into Aries in March of 2025 through 2039. So Aries, of course, is the first sign of the zodiac, and Neptune is the planet of inspiration and dreams and the subconscious. And it's, for me, like inspiration makes me feel of being in spirit. So yeah, I just feel this and it's the higher octave of Venus. So I feel this spiritual beauty and like enchantment energy coming through, but we've been through the mastery. We are here to embody and not get caught in the illusion and delusion of the fantasy. We are here to anchor that into the reality, like the beautiful dreams and visions of our heaven on earth, that new golden age. Neptune moving into Aries is helping us to anchor that in and take action to create that. This is all coming together as I speak. That's beautiful, right? So again, it's also a ruler of the intuition. It's a ruler of Pisces and it's moving out of Pisces, but it's like we're going to now balance things out. So this is, again, that spiritual energy coming through. And then we have a major turning point coming through in June of 2025, okay? So buckle up because I've only just begun. We have Saturn then moving into Aries as well on May 25th, and then Jupiter enters Cancer on June 9th. So within just a couple of weeks, both Saturn and Jupiter are moving signs, and Cancer is a sign, actually both of them. They're cardinal signs of initiation, right? So this is global new beginnings. Global new beginnings. Signs of initiation. We know initiation is about coming into the next level. So global. So when I said collective awakening, like this is why these themes are coming up energetically, because there's astrological influences at play that are contributing to this. And we know now, I hope we know by now, that these astrological events very much impact us on the physical plane. So, the Jupiter Saturn is also coming into conjunction. It's I think like an open square specifically on June 15th. And it's the third and final one of three that started of these open squares that started in August of 2024. So just a few months ago as I'm recording this, we just had another one. And now this is the third one. And it's a completion of a cycle of these Jupiter-Saturn conjunctions, but also amplifying that Jupiter-Saturn conjunction that occurred on December 21st, 2020. So these are kind of like, the way I've been feeling is like they're anchoring in that conjunction. So huge energies with that alone happening in the beginning of June, okay? And then around this time, Venus is also moving into Taurus. So Venus is at home. It's its domicile in Taurus. So these themes of like beauty and luxury, but anchored into the physical. Again, it's like getting practical and grounded. That's on June 6th. And then Mars enters Virgo on June 7th. So we have both the two malefics, Saturn and Mars, and the two benefics, Jupiter and Venus, moving signs within weeks of each other. Within just a few short weeks of each other, they're all moving signs. So this is powerful. This is powerful. We have all the outer planets moving, and then both the benefics and the malefics moving. And then I also almost forgot that on January 25th, this coming month of 2025, there is a parade of planets. I think it's 7 planets. That's a lot of planets in a row. So, I actually didn't really tune into that energy. I just remembered that now. But yeah, when these planets all come together, we had a parade of planets in the end of August, right near the True Lion's Gate as well. I spoke into that a bit. But when these planets all come into alignment, it's very much about harmony. And if it really is 7 planets, I believe it is, then that's the number of the chakras. That is another sacred number. So this is very, very powerful. All the astrology coming through. Yes. So of course, all of these huge transitions are happening just after Pluto formally moved into Aquarius. I mentioned that earlier, but I want to reiterate that this generational planet just, this shift just occurred into Aquarius. And now we're having all of these additional massive shifts and transitions happening within a few months after that happened. So huge pivotal times coming forward, okay? Jupiter in Cancer is very much about cultural revolutions and major societal shifts. So, we can look at this in hindsight, looking at history. What were the themes and patterns, and what was actually happening in the collective energy when these shifts occurred? So it's really cool to actually be able to look back and see that these themes really do impact the collective, and they're very prevalent and present when you actually connect with what these transits mean. So Jupiter in so there's like this activism component, but like this compassionate activism, which very much is in alignment with the age of Aquarius, we the people, unity consciousness, Christ consciousness. So there's also with the Saturn in Aries, it's blazing new trails. So this transformational upheaval of the collective into a new way of being. The old systems and structures are out, new systems and ways of being are in. Again, there's also this energy of being over doing, which is a huge theme on the spiritual journey, but collectively we're going to be seeing that with Jupiter in Cancer. Who are you being? Allowing yourself to just be rather than do. So it's breaking free of these conventional, kind of more conservative ideas and ideals and into a new, more passionate energy. So it's like, consider like, what do you want to be doing and creating, and who do you want to be by this time in June of 2025? We still have a solid 5 months until we reach this very, very pivotal time. By the way, I forgot to mention this. I started this video at 111, and I don't know why I felt the call to say that just now, and I'm looking up and it's about to be 144. I don't know why I felt the need to say that, but maybe you're seeing a lot of 111. Also, the 143 is very much about you are loved, but then, okay, it's 144 now as I'm finishing that. So, the 144,000, I feel like this could be a very, very pivotal time. So it's time to get into alignment and be ready for that time, because I think that is when many of us are going to truly be exalted into high levels of success, or recognize that we have reached that level. So get ready is another message that I've been receiving a lot. So Cancer, that energy, so it's the mother energy as well, but it's cardinal initiation, again, that new beginning energy, as I was saying before. So you can go ahead and if you're into astrology on that level, check your chart and see where it might impact you personally. But back in the 60s, the last time we had not the last time, but we had this be in movement, which is cool. So this I learned from, I love the way that, what's his name? S.J. Anderson, he does astrology reports, but he really does anchor it into these past events. So I will, I will recommend that if you want to get into the historical aspects and nuances. He focuses just on astrology, but I really like the way that he presents it. So he had found that this be in movement was happening when we had this Jupiter in Cancer, and it's very much it was a counterculture movement is the way he described it, right? So spirituality, I see, is kind of a counterculture to the Matrix. So we have that theme running through. And, definitely this theme of breaking free from the Matrix, but it's very much about the mental matrix, right? Allowing ourselves to be who we are, to feel that sense of freedom and liberation internally. And Cancer, again, is about the body, the moon. So I didn't even remember having that note. And the body kept coming up before I sat down to record this. So it's the physical form. So allowing ourselves to fully be, and the body temple has been a big theme for me. So I am a Cancer rising, so I feel this energy a lot. But there's this, this sense of divinity just really blossoming and being fully embodied in that. So again, this being and not doing, and luxuriating in the sense of self that feels totally at home in the body. That's really quite profound. So again, it's the collective mother. So I've been feeling, if you've been connected with me or not, but I've been feeling this profound rise of the mother energy coming through, the divine mother, holy mother, Sophianic consciousness, the crystal Sophia, the Sophia aspect of our divine holy mother God source consciousness coming through very much for us to work with. And that's what came through for the solstice in particular. It was specifically Mother Mary and unicorns, which represent Christ energy. It's not too late to do these activations. They are timeless. They work with the energies, and they are, in their own way, they're timeless. It's very beautiful, very beautiful. So you can still access the recording if you like, and it really just like helps to anchor into the season that we're still kind of in now. If you're seeing this in the very end of December or January of 2025. So peace, communal harmony are other themes that come through with the Cancerian energy. So, Jupiter brings through also, like, Jupiter is about abundance and expansion. So it's this very expansive energy. And there's this sense of truth, wisdom, justice, and revelation around the nature of reality that is coming through, the nature of the universe. And Cancer, so this is a really interesting tidbit, and I believe it was S.J. Anderson who also shared this. So it's the rising sign of Thema Mundi, which is the birth chart of the universe, which I find really fascinating. I haven't gotten into that in depth myself. In this particular video, he didn't share in depth, but the rising sign of the universe itself, cool. I don't know how they calculated that, but I took that note down because I was like, well, that is a really interesting tidbit. The mother, the energy mother, the rising mother, the collective mother coming up to meet her match, right? And it's within us all. So the rise of the divine feminine, the rise of the mother, I really feel that these themes are all coming together. So still, again, in June of 2025, we also have the Cancer new moon on June 25th of 2025. Interesting that we have big events on January 25th and June 25th of 2025 also. And it's just 1 degree from Jupiter, which is why it's notable right now. So it's like it'll be the first new moon after all of these major transitions, aside from was it Uranus or Neptune off the top of my head? Yeah, Uranus. I don't know why I questioned that. Uranus is moving into Gemini in July, but we have all these other very profound energies happening right before that new moon. So again, why I feel this is kind of the void space is we're still in the new moon energy right now, the black moon. And I feel like June 25th, with that new moon, new beginnings, I feel like it's going to be like a whole new world that we're going to be recalibrating to at that point, and infinite possibilities available to us. So let's see what's going to happen. And in the meantime, keep doing what you need to do to step into your power, to be the leader and the way shower that you are here to be, to help the collective, as everybody's going to be going through their own dark night of the souls and being like, what the heck, going through their own reckoning. You've been there. You've been walking the path. So what is it that you need to do to be more embodied, to be more confident, to be more in alignment with your soul path and gifts and calling? How can you be of higher service? So I also have my book that can help to anchor into this from a bigger picture perspective. So if you feel like you understand it and you're there but not totally there, or like you just want some gaps filled, or you just want to read a, interesting perspective through my lens on what's happening and how to navigate the path, I do recommend reading this book. It answers so many questions that I had, and that's why I wrote it. And it actually came through for me leading up to that Jupiter Saturn conjunction in 2020. And God was like, you're getting this out this year as a book, because it started as a series and then it was expanded and edited highly. And I will, on 1/11, if you're seeing this before then, January 11th, I will be hosting an open book club discussion. So you can join that, whether or not you have the book, but I highly recommend you do try to read some at least before, before the discussion. So that can help to anchor in. But yeah, so I feel like this is really the arrival of a powerful new reality. It come middle 2025, the arrival of a powerful new reality. It's really profound. So we have Venus and Mars and Jupiter and Saturn, like they have like they influence the other planets, okay? So that's why it's important to talk about all these transitions occurring in the middle of the year. So it's like the older ways and older models are out with the old, in with the new. I could go through the list of cultural things, the upheaval energy, but I very much feel that we're in the midst of a global renaissance. There's been, when Jupiter entered Cancer in the past, there's also the Cultural Revolution. A lot of things happened in the Middle East. The Berlin Wall fell with Jupiter in Cancer. Nelson Mandela was freed. And then also on kind of the dark side, they're not all light and positive, but on the dark side of things, 9/11 happened with Jupiter in Cancer. A new reality, a new world came through with that. But I see it as kind of the dark age of the modern era, and a new world that is in alignment with the NWO agenda that is over. So I got this message this past year, it's over. That timeline that they tried to instigate and anchor in, that new reality that they tried to create with 9/11, and that they've been trying to usher in with the, all the crazy things that have happened since 2020, that's over. I got that download very loud and clear looking out at the New York City skyline on the days leading up to 9/11. And then immediately after I had that download, there's a double rainbow, a pink sky and a double rainbow. It was stunning. So the new earth is here. The old earth is over. The new earth is here. Out with the old, in with the new. And this is very much about truth and integrity and authenticity and having the courage to go your own way, okay? So operating in this space of unconditional love and compassion, Christ consciousness, unity consciousness, this is what we're being called to do as the leaders and the way showers, as leaders of love, as leaders of light. So do what you need to do to get so anchored in your truth, to feel confident and embodied in yourself. This is what I teach. If you want to go deeper, I have my book. I'm also, if you're newer on the journey, or you feel like you know a little bit but don't have all the pieces in place, I'm going to be creating a new course that is like Awakening Mastery 101, and that's going to hopefully be out real soon. And then I'll be resurrecting my podcast. So I would, like, subscribes, comments are so helpful with the algorithm. And I would love to hear like how this is landing for you, how you feel these energies, and like if it resonates with you, and how you've been feeling towards the end of 2024, like what you're calling in. I would love to hear from you in the comments, like what you're feeling with all of these energies and with what I've shared. So I have a lot more offers, and I'm working to get it as concise as possible. I have the Path to Mastery, which is true transformation. So that's available. And it's like a 12 module, recommended to do it in minimum 12 weeks journey. And it's really, really just everything that I learned and filled in the gaps with. Because there were a lot of gaps on my journey, and that's what I share is like, I was diagnosed with cancer, and my book talks a lot about this as well, but I was diagnosed with cancer in 2016, and it upended my life, but I also was getting spiritually activated at the time, and I was like motivated, gung-ho, changing my life and all of that, and there were so many gaps on my journey that had I known then the things that I know now, it could have been so much smoother. And not that everybody's starting with a cancer diagnosis, but a lot of people out there have diagnoses now. That's a very unfortunate aspect of our reality. But that said, any kind of diagnosis, any kind of, sense of feeling like I need something more or I'm at a pivotal transition in my life, this book was for that. So I myself have been in like deep initiation integration mode in the last however many weeks, but the last week in particular. Profound energies came through for me on November 30th. And it was really wild. It inspired the vision for that. Well, the vision came through for that Mother Mary and the unicorns and all of that for the winter solstice ceremony. So I will also link that below. And you can just sign up and stay in touch, subscribe, register. I have a lot of things that are percolating on the back end. And I am in this recalibration mode myself. But yeah, I am really excited to get it all out there. And again, I do have my Path to Mastery program as well as my book. And then, if there's all sorts of other things, but I think those are the two most helpful at this point in time. So I'm sending you so much love. And if you do want one-on-one, I'm still offering some like kind of on request basis. So if you do want some one-on-one personal intuitive soul guidance, I'm happy to do that. And, we can discuss where you're at and what your personal needs are when you want to do that. But I'm sending you so much love and light, onward and upward. And I so appreciate you for being here. We got this. It's going to be quite a year. See you soon.